Kareem Abdul-Jabbar rarely looked comfortable being worshipped. Welcome to the channel Tragic Frames. Even during the height of his career, there was something distant in the way he carried fame. Calm, intelligent, guarded. While crowds celebrated him as one of the greatest basketball players ever to live, Kareem often seemed more interested in protecting his inner life than feeding public attention. That emotional distance confused people for years. Some called him cold. Others misunderstood his quietness as arrogance. But age has a strange way of revealing truths audiences once missed. Looking back now, many fans are beginning to understand that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar may have spent much of his life carrying emotional weight very few people ever fully recognized. And at 78, that realization feels deeply moving. His accomplishments were almost beyond comprehension. Championships, records, cultural influence, intellectual respect that extended far beyond sports. Yet none of those achievements seemed to fully protect him from loneliness. Fame often creates the illusion that successful people stop needing understanding. Kareem's life quietly disproved that idea. He grew up under enormous pressure long before becoming a basketball icon. Standing out physically at such a young age meant he was constantly watched, judged, and expected to represent something larger than himself. By adulthood, he was already navigating race, identity, fame, politics, and public criticism simultaneously. That kind of pressure changes a person internally. Kareem became deeply thoughtful partly because he had to. He learned early that public admiration can disappear quickly once people stop feeling comfortable with who you truly are. His intelligence sometimes made audiences uneasy. His honesty did too. He refused to simplify himself into an easy celebrity image, even when doing so might have made life easier. There is courage in that, especially during an era when athletes were often expected to remain silent about anything beyond sports. Over time, another quieter sadness seemed to follow him. The emotional isolation that can come from always being perceived as larger than life. Kareem was admired by millions, but admiration does not automatically create closeness. In many interviews throughout the years, there were moments where he sounded reflective almost to the point of exhaustion, as though fame had become something he learned to endure rather than enjoy. And aging appears to have deepened that reflection. At 78, fans now look at Kareem differently, not just as the unstoppable athlete with the skyhook nobody could defend, but as a man who spent decades navigating expectations that never truly disappeared. Physical aging alone can feel emotionally complicated for former athletes. The body changes. Energy changes. The public image remains frozen in another era while the person quietly moves forward through time. That separation can become painful. Still, there is remarkable dignity in the way Kareem continues living publicly, writing, speaking thoughtfully, remaining intellectually engaged with the world instead of retreating from it completely. Many people his age withdraw from visibility. Kareem continued searching for meaning beyond applause. Perhaps that is why audiences feel so emotional about him now. Not because his life lacked success, because success clearly did not erase his humanity. Beneath the records and legendary status was always a person trying to preserve emotional honesty inside a world that constantly turned him into a symbol. And maybe people finally understand how lonely that responsibility can become after carrying it for an entire lifetime. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's story is no longer simply about greatness. It is about endurance, reflection, and the quiet emotional cost of spending decades being admired more than understood. If this story stayed with you, feel free to share your thoughts below. And if you appreciate thoughtful documentaries about public lives, emotional resilience, and the humanity behind legendary figures, like the video and subscribe to Tragic Frames for more stories told with care and respect.